What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here for another episode of Sunless Sea. In the previous episode, we had a decent amount of trade taking place. We had gotten a little bit of cash for all of our random things that we've been running around with the Admiralty. We had the Alarming Scholar. We can give her our Memory of Distant Shores. I'm saying a her because I'm deciding it's a her. The lips are a little too full. Either that or he's been punched in the mouth a few too many times. Still, we do have a lot of events to take care of. It's also come to my attention that, you know, that nightmare strength we've been picking up? I was looking at it, like, conversely. I was looking at it wrong. I thought nightmare strength meant that we were getting stronger, as in, like, the nightmares were hounding us, but we were getting used to them. No, that means that the nightmare is actually gaining strength and they're becoming more lucid, and they're actually threatening to come into the physical realm, thus keeping in with the game's sort of mythosy feeling. Now, we've got a couple of events we need to do here. We'll do Restless Nights. Oh, never mind. That's the thing where we can ask about what they've seen. So let's go to our lodgings, and I do think that we should probably... I have a restful night. However... we have 873. Let's go ahead. We're going to hit up the shops first. We've got 873. We've got enough supplies left, so we shouldn't need to buy anything there. Instead, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll buy a whole bunch of fuel here so that we don't have to worry about it for a while. I did take a look at some of the new ships, and I'm not really sure where I want to go next. The Eschatologue, I don't know, the Eschatologue Dreadnought, I don't know how to say that word, whatever. There's lots of hard words in naval stuff, I don't know. They're difficult, they make me struggle. I was thinking probably saving up for something like the Maynard or the Corvette. I mean, I would like to go straight up to the frigate, but the Corvette will probably be where we go first. I'm not really going to focus on spending a whole lot of money right now. I mean, obviously, with the Echoes that we do have, we have 750. It is possible that we could upgrade certain aspects of our operation. So, for example, we could go from the Leadbeater and Stainrod over to right here, the Leadbeater and Stainrod Seaworm. And that one's only going to cost us... actually, it costs us 50, just like our old one. And it gives us the same amount of irons, and it gives us torpedo tubes. Interesting. Torpedoes are kind of expensive, though. I'm not really sure. From what I've read, torpedoes allow you to fire on the enemy without illumination, and so they're kind of like I win buttons. Like if you've ever played like a Star Trek game from back in the 80s or whatever on an Apple IIe, like photon torpedoes were the same way. Like you didn't have a whole lot of them, but photon torpedoes were definitely the way that you were like, bam, and you would totally win. Or proton torpedoes, photon, I don't remember. It's been a long time since those days. We have a mission that we need to undertake. I should probably focus on getting some of my terror down, huh? Well, let's go take care of our terror. Oi, let me back in. There we go. So we want to go with... you could go to our lodgings. Oh, that's right. I forgot to take a look at all this stuff. This ridiculous amount of... okay. Well... we can adorn our lodgings with captivating treasures. Treasures you can't stop staring at. I know people that have stuff like that in their house. And it's basically a conversational piece. They only put it there so that you'll stare at it and then they'll notice. And then they'll have like this conversation that they have all nice and recited about this nice thing that they have. I suppose we'll carouse. And so we got recent news. We lost 5 terror. However, it is very, very expensive to do this. I wish that there were easier ways to get your terror back down. Who awaits our attention? Let's see. We've got a new recruit because we could use the Irrepressible Cannoneer. I do also wish that I could see this guy's stats, who substantially increases your iron. Only costs 20 echo. Let's do it. We'll go ahead and we'll get rid of this girl right here, the Longshanks Gunner. Oh, +8. Okay, so that's a lot better of an upgrade. That puts us into the mid-40s, which means that should we undertake any more irons challenges, we should be well within the range of being able to maybe accomplish them. The other thing that I should probably do is spend some of my secrets. I know I've been holding on to them, but secrets seem like they're really, really special in this game. Like, you don't want to get rid of them lightly. And so if I take a look at my hold right now, I did want to talk about this. We have 12 secrets, and that means that we can either sell them. It says you can sell them at the university, but the university doesn't seem to want them. Maybe it's after I get Antiquarian a little bit higher, or we can use them to improve our skills. So I'm thinking that those might be the only 2 options, since that's all that's listed right there. I just don't know. I just don't know, everybody. I do think that we should probably upgrade our stats and make it so that, I mean, 12 to any of our stats would be pretty fantastic right now. We could go with 12 to irons. That'll give us 55, but I think that pages are where I want to go with everything. And so I'm thinking that... who updates our pages? It's the cook. Okay, so the cook updates our pages. That's kind of strange. Why would a cook update your pages? Why would a cook increase your intellect? I'm not trying to be insulting to cooks right now, but I don't know. It just doesn't, the archetype doesn't seem to match up. Like, I suppose the cook is the smart guy in this game. No matter what we do, we definitely need to head back. Let me see if I can buy any more of those little refugee things before we go anywhere else. I can't buy anything here to sell anywhere else because I'm not sure the prices up in whatever the name of that place is, Withers or Whispers or whatever the hell it is. However, after this trade trip, or actually after this trip for the Admiralty, we will 100% have our feet on the ground rather than high up in the air, and we'll have figured out what we can use things for. The lead beater and stain rod. Now, you do use more fuel. I looked this up, and you use a lot more fuel if your engine has more engine power, in case you were wondering. So you do use quite a bit more fuel. I was hoping that maybe the engine power came with efficiency as well, like as you got more and more expensive engines, you went both faster, and your fuel usage would be a little bit lower, but maybe that's just asking too much, which it probably is. I have the tendency to want too many things. Let's go ahead and head out on our way. We've got a long voyage in front of us, and I think it's about time to make that trip. But we want to make sure we don't actually like scrub our knees or anything. You remember that from when you were a little kid? I feel like when I used to fall and like scrape my knees when I was a little kid, it hurts more than I did now. And I only say that because I was on my jog yesterday and I ate shit super hard on the sidewalk in front of a bunch of people, and I was like, well, that was embarrassing. Oh, my hunger is really high. I should kill a crab. Crab? There's never one around when my hunger is high. There is never a crab around when my hunger is high. I just don't even know. We're going to swing by Hunter's Keep as well. We're going to try and keep our terror as low as possible. And I'm going to do my best to ping-pong in between islands and buoys all along the way. I do think that in the early game, I was a little bit lax with my navigation. And so I think in this case, or at least as we go towards the end of the game, I'm going to try and be a little bit more vigilant about ensuring that I face the right direction and I do the right things in order to keep this bar a little bit lower than it has been. At Hunter's Keep, we'll reconnoiter the island. It's only worth 5 echoes, but it's better than nothing. We can give them recent news. Okay, you asked the sulfuride maid to carry a few hints of your news to the sisters. Oddly enough, she comes back with a message that their headaches are cured and you're invited to lunch. Yeah, go figure. And so if you go with the cheery sister, we lose terror. Oh, wow, you lose a lot. Holy hell. Lucy leans over and whispers to you confidentially, a complex story about a butler, a pig, and an inheritance. You don't follow the details of the plot, but somehow the pig ends up in an attic and the butler's in a vicar's bed. Candles flicker, dishes enter and leave, and the wind butts gently at the window panes. By the time the plum pudding arrives, you're as cheerful as you've been in months. So we lost our... Oh, we gained supplies, too, and we got -10 to terror. That's really, really good. That puts us quite a bit lower than we had started out. And so they're done there. I may try and make that trip a lot, just because -10 terror is about the best that I think we've ever done during the course of our playthrough. Let's have a look at our map, and we'll try and make sure that we're going the right way. We could go out to the funging station, and then come back this way, but I think I'm just going to go for Vetterbite right now. Let's go for Vetterbite. And once we get on over there, we'll unload some of the crewmen. You'll recall that in the previous episodes, we had some serious issues with some of our Vetterbite people. Ah, bats. Let's go fight them. Bats. They give us free supplies. Oh, there's 2 of them over here. Well, maybe I'll go kill a couple. Might be a decent way to make some cash. We'll fight the vermin. And I don't remember exactly how I fought these guys previously, but I'll probably just go with Seek and then like an Illuminate, and then we'll just open fire, and maybe that'll be the thing that we want to do. It's based on our mirrors and our veils. Not so good. Not so good. So that only gave us 26. Hope for a big one right there. There it is. And so we criticaled. So we got what looks like 33 off of that one, which is pretty good. We're going to go ahead and open fire on them. We'll go ahead and throw them into the cook pot and eat ourselves some bat. The only thing that I'm used to, the only thing I'm used to eating is eating crow. And so bat seems a little bit nicer. Into the pot. We now have 11 supply, and soon we will have 12 supply as soon as we kill these bats off. There we are. I'll probably go ahead and increase my mirrors. Detection and perception seems to be like a good thing to increase, and so I may go for that. I don't know, we'll find out. I'll talk to these guys and figure out what they increase with regards to my stats after this combat. Let's go ahead and we'll start off with a couple of Seeks, and then we'll just open fire. And so with 3 seconds remaining, we'll see if we get a good roll here. We got a bad roll. Well, I mean, it's an okay roll. We just need to get up above 50. Okay, we're up above 50 and ready to let loose on our first volley. Pa-chow, pa-chow, pa-chow. There it is. We've taken out the enemy. And now we shall turn them into boxes full of bats. Bulging boxes full of bats. How I wonder where you're at? I don't know. Let's head northward. God, there are so many bats over here. You could actually sit around and hunt them for quite some time and stock up to a reasonably secure amount of goodies. I mean, you could get up to, if you get up to 15, 20 supplies, and you've got to remember that you're limited by your hold space, but still, I mean, if you've been hurting for any amount of supplies, that's actually a good way to spend your twilight hours, just kind of hanging out farming if you get your terror low and everything else is where it needs to be, especially considering if you take the supplies out to the further areas in the colonies, you can make yourself a decent amount of money. We'll stop off at Vetterblight, and we will explore Vetterblight. And it says, they favor candles over gaslight. Yeah, we already did that. And so, a little chapel stands alone. You poke your head through the door. The walls are deep red, just this side of scarlet. A ruby-tinted window at the back glows with a steady light. An electric lamp behind the glass. Rare and expensive, but this is no gaslight. No one is here, and yet you have the sensation that only a moment ago someone must have been. So we can go for, we can make an offering. Drop a coin into the empty offering box and pray to the power of this place, whatever it might be. Or we can search the place with our mirror skill. Let's search. There is an altar, a block of basalt. There are pews, a pulpit, no Bibles, and no hymn books. The stained glass window is the red of cochineal. Or cochineal, I don't know. Your crew are eager to leave, and no one looks back. I feel like they dig through a thesaurus fairly frequently in order to make this game. We failed in a challenge. That's unfortunate, but at least nothing bad happened. That's on the plus side. We can gather gossip, and so there it is. We've got our port report for Vetterblight. I do think that I should probably stop through right here and have a look at their wares. So let's look. Foxfire candles sell for 33 here. However, that's a little bit on the expensive side. Oh, that's actually a fairly... Okay, so they sell for... We can get 21 and selling for 23 right here. That's not bad. I think that it's an okay price. I'm going to go ahead and make a note of it on my little list here that I have sitting around. And so you'll forgive me as I hang out for a moment. I'm sure this isn't the most entertaining thing to listen to me do, but I'd rather be aware of the prices than anything else. And the only place that we've seen mushroom wine sell for a similar price was at Guider's Morn, and this is considerably closer. So, if all things considered, this would probably be the run that you want to make. We have the Arcade of Size. We have... Oh, they sell... Oh, they buy recent news here. That's interesting. Okay, and they buy Visions of the Surface, obviously. We have one of those, but I don't want to get rid of them. And then the Charnel Lounge. So we'll sell off all of our Tomb colonists. But that looks to be about all that they have to offer us right here. So it might be worth considering to bring things... If I was coming this way anyway, so while I was back in London, if I had known coming this way, I should have bought a bunch of casks of mushroom wine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to repeat that quest with the warrior monks or the pirate monks. We'll continue to try that out, but I think that's about it. The Vengeance of Jonah. We can recruit the Bandish Poissonnier, but you need to outfit the galley to his exacting standards. We could also eat a risky meal. Since we're only missing a cook, that might be a decent way to spend our cash. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of discretionary income right now, so I think I'm going to walk away from it, but that's good. That refreshes my memory, and it reminds me that there's something over here that we could potentially take care of in the future. Let's make our way on up to Wither, and we'll stop by Codex as well while we're up there. I think Codex was the place that we needed to go anyways. I was trying to make for that buoy right there, but I realized all too late that it wasn't worth it. We'll go ahead and get back up in here. I know I said that I was going to... We'll go with flares this time. I mean, I don't know. The flares illuminate me a little bit too, but it doesn't seem to... You only get like 5 out of it. So if you can actually snap these things off quicker, you can end up with 50 illumination a lot faster than your opponent can. However, it does assist them when they're trying to seek you out as well. And so we'll load up with full-on attacks because we don't want to be chewed on by any rodents right now. I got bit by a rat one time. That was a really, really painful little wound. His teeth went straight through my finger. I was talking to somebody next to the cage, and my hand was sitting on top of the cage, and he stood up and he bit through my finger. which was weird because normally he's a very friendly rat. I don't know why he bit through my finger, but damn did it hurt. It bled a lot too. And the fact that his teeth were all orange and gross like rodent teeth are made me feel really bad about the possible hygiene of the situation. Nonetheless, I flushed that sucker out with iodine and everything else just in case. Let's make our way out to here, possibly. Does this count? It does, but we didn't make it in time. And the next buoys... Oh, we should have followed the coast, actually. It seems like the coast might be a better way to make this run. We're at Terror 46. The Z is wide and dark. Terror is increasing. Yeah. I love the music in this game, how it's very plodding. It very much gives you the mental impression that you're floating on waves and going. Everything's got kind of like a... I don't know, like a 6/8 beat to it, something that sort of rocks. I don't know, it just feels that way to me. All of the music is very plodding, and I feel like it goes along with like a steamship voyage, because obviously you're not going anywhere very quickly. Like, compared to using wind as power, yeah, you are, but compared to modern ships, you ain't going nowhere. Ooh, barely made that turn. I almost messed up. Let's go to Wither. We'll take a look at the shops first. And so we've got Fortune and Fortune. They buy Mooter Salt. For okay, so we can sell Z stories right there to get Mooter Salt. And I think at some point maybe they'll give you Z stories for fuel. I don't know. And then Stygian Ivory. So basically everything here is for Tales of Terror and sea stories. It's understandable. We'll go to the House of Question. And this is the place where they worshipped all of the random gods like Storm and Salt and all of those. I don't think we have any of these. We need a Watchful Curio. And we don't need to be under Stone's attention. We can defy the gods, which is kind of an interesting thing to do. It gives you free hearts and iron. We talked about that before, but let's go ahead and inquire about 100 to inquire about the drowned man. I don't think I want to spend 100 to do that. Let's go ahead and continue on our way, although where is... We'll gather intelligence. And so we got a port report from Wither. For 50 echoes, we can subsist on cavefish. Well... Or cavefish. We can get cave fish. There we go. Let's go with it since we have the veils. We might as well. We lost 5 terror. Okay, well, it was sort of worth it. I mean, kind of. Definitely testing things out. Let's go up to Codex. Because I believe that's where our next port report was for the Admiralty. That'll make us a little bit of money, but I don't think we're going to break even on this trip. I mean, we might make like 100 maybe. Maybe like 80 or 70 echoes, but I'm really sort of hoping that eventually we'll come across some kind of trade route that'll be a bit more fruitful. Or at least that once I've got everything charted out on the map, once I've made sure that I've got everybody's goods written down on a piece of paper, then we can actually start making the most out of every single trip that we make. Stop off at Codex, and we needed to gather information for the Admiralty. She hands you an oilskin pouch. 9 foolscap sheets of beautifully written cipher gathered from who knows what corners of the Untersee. You look up, she points across the water towards the distant lights of Withertown. She shakes her head. No home there for her, not now. She points to your ship and then raises her eyebrows. And so a mute exile wants to join your crew. Will you permit it? Though the other sailors clutch their Z talismans and make signs against evil, the folk of Wither are uncanny. Those who are exiled to Codex must be more so. Sure, why not? So we'll gain 5 terror. We get the terror back that we had before, but 5 terror is a pretty low cost for a free crew member. I mean, it's better than having to hire one on later, so I don't think there's anything else going on right here. It is slightly tempting to adventure off to the east this way and just kind of see what's out here. But I think I'll save that for later. We're actually, well, we haven't gone off to the south very far. And it looks like there's something out to the east a little bit further, too. The map does stop when you hit the edges. Like right here, we know that we're done because it stops. But down to the south, we can go pretty far. Off to the east, we can go fairly far as well. In fact, we can go really far off to the east. I guess we'll just head back to London for now. Let's go back to London. We'll turn in our port reports and we'll kind of take stock of what it is that we need to get done. This trip went really, really well. There wasn't a whole lot of noise or any banging and clanging or anything like that. What the hell is that thing? You've sighted a lifeberg. By the time we get back to London, I think we should be about out of time for the episode anyways. One of the nice things, I guess it's kind of a nice thing and kind of a bad thing, is that the game is slow enough to where you can get some things done while you play in one episode, but it seems like you really only get that one trip taken care of each time you go out. I do want to get a new ship very, very badly. Something that can hold a bit more fuel, but they're so expensive. I mean, you got to have the final ship. It said that it cost 28,000 echoes, which is just like, whoo, that's quite a bit of cash. I should have followed my own advice and gone down south here. Oh, well. It's okay. We'll fight some bats out here, get ourselves some freebie supplies. I'll just seek twice and then we'll fire. I mean, either way seems to be equally as effective. Neither one really seems to give us any sort of benefit. I should upgrade my mirrors so that I can illuminate faster. And I may consider doing just that with the secrets that we have. Maybe taking our mirrors up to like 40 something. Putting all my points into mirrors. Pages can be useful occasionally, like if you're answering riddles or if you're doing anything that requires obscure knowledge. But by and large, I don't see a lot of challenges that require pages. By contrast, every time we fight, gather up the corpses and into the pot. Lovely, lovely, lovely dinner is served. We just don't tell them what it is. We tell them that it's beef. They say that it tastes a little bit gamey, but nobody questions it too far. I mean, sometimes they do, and those people get pushed off a cliff. We try to keep those questiony people out of those inquisitive folk out of our wake if we can. Well, and then if they don't stay out of our wake, we throw them into the literal wake. Go through Hornman's Stag here. I don't know if it'll be worth my while to go out to Demo Island. I don't think that it will. Let's just go back. We'll head on back, and then from there I think we'll be on track to make ourselves a little bit of cash. We'll take count of all the echoes that we have. Let me slaughter these bats over here. I'll probably get that second group too since they're already coming for me. Some people had raised concerns in the comments, and I did want to address this during the course of this episode. Some people had said during the last couple episodes that I should just keep capturing ships from the pirates. You can do that, but there's diminishing returns on the amount of money that you get. And so the first one that you capture gives you like 150, the second one gives you 100, and after that you just get 50 per ship. It's not really worth the... There's a risk involved, is what I'll say about it. Rarely, we didn't kill the bats with one shot. That's weird. I don't know if that's ever happened before. Alright. Another gathered supplies. We'll allow these ones to catch us, although we will continue. Oh, maybe not. Alright, well, if they're going to turn an about face. But anyways, I did want to address that. When you take these prize ships, you make less and less money each time. So you want to be careful about taking too many of them because they can fail. And so the 50... it's worth risking 3 crewmen for 150 echoes. It's not worth risking 3 crewmen for 50 echoes. It's not. And so you want to be careful about that sort of thing. Let's go ahead and we'll seek them. And I think if we can get a double seek off, we'll be okay. And so there's number 1. The first one was pretty successful. He's going to go for an illuminate on that turn. However, since he illuminated himself, we can actually open fire now. Although we are going to take 1 round, unfortunately. God, they hit us so much harder than we hit them. It leads me to think that there's a very, very wide... Okay, so we were fortunate. We've got 1 to the victor goes the spoils. I am going to try and take the prize wherever we can, just in case, because we could use the money. I mean, we're going to have to repair the hull now anyways, although we can use the Admiralty orders for that. I noticed you had brought that up in the comments, and I do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and take a couple shots at these bats. That'll give us 14 supply, which is pretty fantastic. That means that we're going to be stocked for not only this episode, but maybe the next one. I don't want to overstretch myself and talk about things that may not last as far as I thought they would, but... Did we make 51? Okay, that's all that I care about. As long as we make it to 50 illumination, I don't mind. And so another round of bats are destroyed. We'll gather up the corpses, and there it is. Apparently we've gotten very, very good at bat tannery, which is kind of one of those lesser taxidermies that people don't typically talk about very often. Got a few minutes left. I'm going to try and make it back to the port at London. I'm actually sort of hoping that our smuggler contact will have another job for us, because while he can be risky if you don't have the map uncovered. One of the things I do like about him is that he pays you very, very well. You make a lot of money off that guy. And so I'm hoping that he has a few more jobs for us. And you forgive me right there. I was shifting in my seat, and that's why my mouse was bouncing around all strangely. Don't worry. I only bounce my mouse for good reason. I only bounce the mouse for good reason. We'll go ahead and click off the lights. And into the port we go. The reoccurring nightmare. Watch. The sea is bright as milk. So we can flee the nightmare for 34. We can confront the nightmare for 17. Or we can go deeper into the nightmare. Let's go ahead and flee the nightmare. Hey, we succeeded! And so the sea churns in your wake, you pull away from the eye into the shallower waters of waking, but a terror clings. You've lost a nightmare's strength, and you've lost a restful night, which is fine. Oh, we gained 6 terror, though that's bad. But we succeeded in the hearts challenge, so that's pretty funsies. We're probably going to gain that nightmare's strength right back when we come into port. I don't like how I have to keep my lights on, otherwise I'm in London. It'll be fine. Okay, and a breath of release, we're back, and so yeah, the nightmare's strength came straight back. Collect our messages from the Harbor Master. A blind bruiser would like a word. I think that's just popping up randomly. I don't actually think that that means that he wants to talk to me. We'll pass on the strategic information, which means we get another Admiralty's favor and 150 echoes. We'll ask if there's anything particular that they need. And so he wants us to go to Port Cecil in the Principles of Coral, somewhere to the northeast of London. I think that we've been there, so Port Cecil or Port Cecil should not be that difficult. We'll submit our port reports. And so Wither, we got paid... Oh, okay, so we're maxed out on Admiralty reports. We probably want to make use of those then. Vetterblight, and so we're going to come out with 35 altogether from there. In fact, I think... I wasn't paying attention to how many echoes we had when we left, but it appears as though we made about 90 echoes off of the full trip. Let's go to the dockyards. And where is that? We'll put it in the dry docks. And we can go to the Admiralty yards, which cost us an Admiralty favor of 5, but it only cost us 20 echoes. Sure. Let's go for that. And I may, in fact, go for that twice because, well, let's wait. I would rather be cost-effective in this regard. We'll go back to London. We don't need more crew. However, we do need to go to our lodgings. So let's go there. We'll read the morning papers so that we get an extra hint of recent news. We've got the long-awaited prize money. We only got 50 echoes from it. Like I said, there's diminishing returns on that quest, so it works in the beginning quite well, but the remainder is like, meh. Considering it cost us 20 to repair the damage, we only made a 30 profit right there. And I think we'll get our Restful Night back. We lost 1 terror. We gained our Restful Night. How many Restful Nights can I have? I tried resting there twice just in case you could stock up on Restful Nights, but you can't. You can only have 1 with you at a time. Let's speak to our... What does this do? So we can improve our mirrors with our navigator. And if we have someone to cook for us, it'll get better. We can increase our veils with her, but our veils are already pretty good. We can unlock our irons with the gunner. That makes sense. And then with him, he'll probably be hearts. Soft voice, courteous, be wary of spiders. You can learn about him, but as of yet, this will have no particular effect. We can chat about science. We can increase our hearts. Learning about the haunted doctor. Interesting. So it says right here it has no particular effect, so I don't really think that there's any reason for us to waste supplies on it since they've already admitted that we can learn but nothing happens. So since that's part of the early access, I'm going to speak to him. We're going to increase our mirrors. And so there it is. We gained 1 mirrors. I may actually do this a whole bunch of times. I was hoping that maybe you could get a bunch of them sometimes. I'll probably go down to like 5 secrets, and then from there I think we'll be okay. And so we've got 36. I'll probably try and take that up to 40. Let's do that. We'll take mirrors up to 40. And then past there. I don't really see the point in going too much higher. That'll give us a reasonable chance in most encounters. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in the Nerd Castle for another episode of Sunless. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do as always.